Hello. My name is Ariely, and I'm a professor of psychology and behavioral economics at Duke University. And I recently wrote this book called Misbelief. And the book is about strange beliefs that people adopt and trying to understand the psychology of that. Now, the book came out in September 23, and then October arrived, and the 7th of October was a very, very pivotal day, I think, in the history of the world. Very brutal attack by Hamas, and then lots of complexity erupted since then. And we're kind of at a new height of misinformation and misbelief. I think we're at a new height of identity politics after Gaza, Hamas, and also as we get into the 2024 elections in the US. And there's a question of what have we learned about misbelief from this book and the research that could be helpful to improve our lives a little bit in this complex time. So one of the things I talk about in misbelief is called the illusion of explanatory depth. And the illusion of explanatory depth is the idea that there are many things that we think we understand, but we actually don't. And that the key to have a deeper discussion with people is to basically align better confidence with knowledge. So I show this with a toilet. Imagine one of these flush toilets. And I asked people, I said, hey, do you understand how a flush toilet works? And people said, yes, I understand how a flush toilet works. On a scale from 0 to 10, I really understand it. Great. Then I said, luckily for you, I have all the pieces here of a flush toilet. Can you assemble it? Nobody could ever assemble it. And then I said, okay, so how well you understand it? And people say, not so much. Now, if you think about it, usually when we try to argue with people, we go head to head. Oh, this is my perspective. This is my perspective. But when we talk, what does the other person does? And when they talk, what do? We say, oh, maybe we listen. The reality is we don't listen. Think about the last 3 years of your life. How many times have you had discussion with people? At the end of that discussion, you say to somebody, you know what, you're absolutely right. Or how many times they told you, you know, you're absolutely right, I'm changing my opinion. The reality is that when we talk, and when the other person talks, we already counter-argue. We just listen to the beginning of their sentence, and we're already arguing about why it is that they're wrong. And at the end of this hour of conversation, we didn't really listen and we don't change our opinion. But the illusion of explanatory depth says, don't argue, come at it from their perspective. I didn't come and tell people, hey, you don't understand how a flush toilet works. I say, help me understand, what do you understand about it? Here are the pieces, assemble it. The same thing works also for political issues. So, I've met lots of people who said, let's eradicate Israel from the river to the sea, all kinds of things like that. And my strategy is basically to say, help me understand what it is that you want. Now, I hope that by the time the video is out, the war is over, there are 2 states, everybody is happy and peaceful and so on, but most likely this will not happen yet. But imagine I come to you, and this happened to me repeatedly, and I say, what would you like to see happen? And people say, I want an immediate ceasefire. I say, fine. Let's say I give you, not that I can do it, but let's say I could, for the sake of argument, I would give you an immediate ceasefire. And then people say, and I want Israel to leave immediately Gaza, to go to the pre-October 7th time. Fine. If I could do it, I would grant it to you immediately. And then I said, what's next? What's next? And people say, what do you mean what's next? It's over. Ceasefire back to. I said, no, it's not over. That's just the beginning. I say, what happened in 2 months from now when Hamas does the same thing they did on October 7th? What do you want then to do? And people say, I don't know. I said, but that's your solution. You said ceasefire and leave. What would you suggest? I say, would you let them arm again? And most people say, yes, they were the elected government of Gaza, let them arm again. Do you allow them to have an air force, a navy? what would be the response for the next 10,000 rockets? You tell me. They're connected with Iran. What about a nuclear weapon? Now this approach basically says to people, help me understand your perspective. I don't argue with people. I don't say you're wrong and this is what happened in 48 and this is what happened in 67. I say, help me understand what it is. And my experience is that when people try to explain it, they mostly say, you know what, it's really complex. And that's actually all I want. I'm not trying to convince people. I am trying to get people to understand that this is a complex situation. I think this is an incredible, sad, difficult, painful, complex situation that simple solutions will just not work. Now, I gave you the example of Hamas and Israel, but of course it's a more general issue. When we try to have conversations with people, the illusion of explanatory depth basically says, don't argue. Basically, try to get those people to explain to you their perspective at depth. You think the elections were stolen? Help me understand how. You think this happened? Help me understand how. In a truly interested way, try to get them. And what I predict will happen in many cases is that confidence will go down and willingness conversation would go up. Of course, that's just one element of this complex issue of how we create beliefs and how we start believing in all kinds of strange things. So hopefully you'll enjoy the book more generally.